Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we're going to make a beautiful necklace using some sari silk and some beautiful Jesse James beads and some check glass fire polish. So our encouraging word for today is stay positive. That's a good one. I feel like positive people are generally happier and healthier people. All right, so what we're going to use today, we're going to use the check fire polish 8mm in crystal lilac. That is these beauties right here. They are so pretty. Okay, we are going to use the check glass purple poppy Golem Strand. And here it is, and it's beautiful too. So we've got these beautiful golem beads. We've got all of these little extras that are really unique and pretty. Then we've got some metals, some sparkle with our rondelles. And we're going to be adding in these check sparkly beads, which will be really pretty. You're going to need some sari silk or some ribbon. You can use any ribbon you have. You can even use chain. I mean, I just wanted to do this. I wanted to make a tie back, which you can't make tie back with chain, obviously, but I wanted a tie back necklace with this. I just thought it would be really cute. And I've got 2 ribbon ends here, and these are just the little kind with the serrated edge, but they kind of have a little basket weave to them. There they are. And I like that. So we're using 2 of those, 2 eye pins. I have 2 Wire Guardians 5mm, 2 2x2 crimp tubes, and some bead caps that I pulled from my own stash. Actually, these are from my own stash, these little 5-petal ones. These came on some Jesse James strands, these filigree. And I believe Jesse James has had these little 5-petal ones on strands too, but you can use any bead caps you have. The reason I'm using these filigree ones is these golem beads have kind of these large holes, and I'm just going to use this to cover that up, so it'll be prettier. Okay, and then I have some little 3mm spacers if I need them. I don't know if we're going to need them, but I pulled them out just in case. And I think that's everything besides your jewelry tools, just the normal round nose, chain nose, cutters, the normal pliers. So the first thing we're going to do, and I am going to pull out a bead bug because I'm so bad for losing my beads off the end of my wire. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is string on our beads how we want them. Okay, so I haven't measured, I mean, this piece right here is like 12 inches. You know, it just depends on how long you want yours to be. You can make it however you want. You can add in more beads, less beads. This sari silk here, oh gosh, it's kind of long, but we're going to be cutting it. But I've got like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 20 inches doubled, so about 40 inches of this. Okay, but we're going to be cutting that. And again, you can use ribbon, you can use whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start stringing on some beads here. So let's see. I think I'll use one of these little fire polish ones on the end, or rondelles on the end there. And then I just want to put these little bicones in because they match the color of this silk, and I really want to kind of tie that all together. Okay, let's dump these bead caps out. Now these 2 beads we're going to be putting on eye pins. We're not going to be putting them on this strand, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're stringing. Let's do a fire polish bead with a couple of bead caps. We need to put that on the right way. Then I think we'll do this bigger bead here. Let's add in this white rondelle. Actually, I think I wanted to do these bead caps on these bigger beads. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do this bead cap, this one. Yeah, I like the way those look on there. And this bead cap. We will do our white rondelle. Then, let's see, let's go ahead with these longer beads right here. And I'm going to do just a little spacer there. And then we'll do the pearls with these bead caps, at least one pearl. And like you know, you can string this up however you want. It's totally up to your own creative control, okay? I'm going to do, I've been leaving out my fire polish, haven't I? Let's do a fire polish before this pearl. I do want to get them in here because I just like the color. I think it draws in some sparkle and some color. So let's go ahead and do this one. And the bicone. Okay, then we'll do the pearl. Okay. And then I'm going to do another bicone, and then I'm going to go back the way that I started. So I'm just going to repeat my pattern backwards. I'm going to do bead cap, pearl, another bead cap, another bicone, another fire polish bead, the spacer, this barrel bead or tube bead, whatever you want to call it, the larger white rondelle, then our bead caps again, and our decorative beads, little ceramic beads, our other bead cap, and then we've got a couple more bead caps and this fire polish bead, but I think I've got to pull out another bead cap because I'm one short. There we go. There's that one. And then we have a bicone and our small white rondelle. Okay, so that is our little middle strand for this necklace. So now I'm just going to set this aside for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and string these, or we're doing these on head pins. Goodness, couldn't think of the name. Okay, so what I want to do here is a bicone and then this bead cap. And this bead cap, when I put it on here, I'm just going to fold it around the bead. Okay, just kind of mold it to it. And see how it just kind of covers up that hole and it gives it a little decorative element. Same thing on the top. And the other bicone. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm just going to make a loop. Now, you want to make sure, well, I guess you don't have to, but I want to make sure these are little poppies. And I want to make sure they sit upright on here. And not be upside down. So when you put your necklace together, you want to kind of think about that, I guess. Okay, I'm just going to make a small loop. Just like this, and roll this back. Okay, and just make sure it's closed so your bicone doesn't slip out of there. Okay, just like that. And the tighter you make that loop, the better it's going to be, as far as you're not going to be able to have your bead spinning around so much. So I try to make them kind of tight on there. So we're going to do the same thing on the other one. Bicone, bead cap, our bead, and then our bead cap, and our bicone. Okay, so just like that. I am bending this 90 degrees. I'm just going right above my bicone. I'm trying to make sure that I don't leave a lot of space because, again, I don't really want these beads to spin around a whole lot. And then I'm just cutting a small amount to make a smaller loop. And you will need, I didn't mention, but we are going to need a couple of jump rings. I'm sorry. Goodness, come on now. Okay, there we go. So there's our two little pieces. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way, and I just knocked over this whole thing of metal bead caps and little beads I had in the way. Let me grab that out of the way. Sorry. Okay. So here's what we've got. Now we have our strand here, and you want to make sure and kind of push these bead caps down so that they're laying on the bead a little bit. And we have our Golem beads here, and I'm going to take the sari silk here in a minute, and we're going to cut it, but I need to measure how long I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead right now, because I think this is pretty much how I want it, and finish off my ends of my stringing. So I am just going to I'm going to trim this because it's a little bit frayed. And I'm definitely going to need my glasses for this one. Okay, so we're going to put our crimp tube on, and then put your wire through your wire guardian, up and over, down the other side, and right up through here. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my crimping pliers, and you want to make sure that your wire guardian is tight here. You've pulled your crimp tube or crimp bead up close, and you don't have wires sticking up here. And then we're going to lay our crimp tube in the last divot of the pliers, and it would help if I had them the right way. There we go. The divot goes on the bottom. Make sure your wires are not crossed, and just go ahead and press down. And what that does is that puts each wire in a little channel. Then you turn it vertically, and you go ahead and close it right up there. And see, makes a nice, neat little crimp. And I'm sure most everybody already knows that, but if there's new people, I like to try to break it down a little bit sometimes. And then I'm just going to trim this off below this rondelle because it doesn't seem to want to go through the bicone. Again, a double strand, so just trim that off and pull it up. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, we just put our little crimp tube on and our wire guardian. Now, I like to make sure that my beads, there's not a lot of space between them. You don't want wire showing, but you don't want them to be poker straight either. So I try to go ahead and go back through the crimp tube on this side and go through this rondelle. Except for this one doesn't, there we go. Doesn't seem to want to go through the rondelle. Okay. And then just pull it down here. And then you can take this and kind of hold it at the top and pull everything up. But again, you want this to have some flexibility, so be a little careful with that. I mean, we don't want wire showing, but we don't want it to be weirdly poking out either. Okay, so I'm going to move my crimp tube up, make sure everything is tight, and then I'm going to crimp it. It's a little harder on this side to make sure that your wires aren't crossed. You just do the best you can. But usually it turns out fine if you're kind of careful. Okay, trim that off, and here's what we've got. So now, I did mention that we were going to need some jump rings, but I didn't mention it in the beginning, and I'm sorry. So we are going to need some jump rings, and I'm going to use some little, these are 5mm little oval jump rings, and I'm just going to hook everything together with these. Okay, so going to open this right up, and I'm just going to hook it right onto here. You could use a smaller jump ring if you wanted. Usually I do, but I like these oval jump rings because I feel like they're kind of secure. They don't open at the top or the bottom. You know, when it hangs, it's going to hang with this slit in the middle. So if anything would come loose, it would be a little bit easier to, you know, not lose all your necklace. So that's that right there. Now, we are going to take our sari silk here, and we're going to go ahead and cut it. But I wanted to get the length. So something like this, I want to hang on me around my collarbone. And for that, it's about 24 inches, so 12 inches per side. And I need to have enough room here to tie this in a bow, okay? So I have about 20 inches per side right now. So let's see. Let me measure this and see what I have right here. So from here to here is about 5 inches. So I need about 19 inches, and this is 20 per side. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this right in the middle. Because I want to have enough to tie it in a bow. the 19 inches, the 20 inches will give me enough to just tie it in a bow and everything. So I'm going to take this end that I just cut, and I'm going to take my little ribbon thing here, and I'm just inserting the silk, and you can fold it up. Sometimes I like to do this, just fold it up here like this to give it just a little more substance to hang on to. And I'm just going to insert it in here. Make sure that it's laying flat, and you know, you want to make sure that it looks decent. So just kind of hold it in there where you want it to be with your thumb. Okay, and then I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, these ones that are kind of thicker, a little wider, and I'm just going to bend it down, but I do want to fold this again. I like to try to fold it a little bit on the bottom and just make sure that it has a little substance to it. These little teeth are going to grab, so it's not going to go anywhere, but I like to do that anyway. And you can even put glue in if you want to, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to bend it and press it down gently, and see, these little teeth are going to grab, and then I'm just going to take it like this and just press kind of firmly so that it grabs in there really good. And that is pretty good right there. So there's one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, just like that. Insert this in and hold it just like that. And then I'm just going to take these wide pliers and, holding it like I want it, just kind of flatten it. And then I'll give it a little more pressure. Okay, just like that. All right, so now we're just going to take our little jump rings. We're going to hook, you could hook this directly on if you want, but I kind of want to use a jump ring because I like the movement that it gives things. So I'm just going to take my jump ring, hook this right on here. Now do make sure that your loops are closed. My loop is not entirely closed. I'm going to fix that right now. Okay, so do make sure your loops are closed so nothing comes apart. And then I'm going to just put it through the little tab here, or the little loop on the ribbon end, and close it. Okay, so there's that. Do the same thing on the other side. And again, I'm just going to make sure this is closed really well. And insert this right here. And right here. Okay, and then we have a cute little necklace. Now, if you don't want this long, you can always trim it. I kind of like it long because I want to make a bigger bow back here. So I'm going to tie this, you know, pretty big, and you could wear your hair up or you're in a ponytail, whatever, and wear this, and it would make a really, really cute, you know, little bow in the back. So that's kind of why I'm leaving it this long, but I like the big bow. I just think it's super cute. I am going to trim the ends here just a little, just to give it a little more finished look. And you could even take beads and put on the end if you wanted to. You could take a couple of beads. Let's see. I don't think my fire polish beads will go through there. But if you had a bead with a little bit bigger hole, you could just take it and insert it right on the ends here, and then tie a knot underneath it, and that would make a really cute little, you know, bead dangles here on the side. So that's something I might consider doing as well. But here it is, our golem necklace. Let me put it on a form, and I'll be right back to show it to you. So I did go ahead and pull out a couple little beads, and I'll show you what I mean by putting these on the end. So I'm just going to take a little piece of the silk, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. Like this, and then I'm going to take this bead. This is kind of a large hole spacer from my Jesse James stash, and I'm just going to, you can take your plier or a beading awl, you might be good to use, and just take the end here and press it through. Okay, pull it all the way through. And then just tie another small knot. I hope I left enough. Whoops, that one above that knot. It won't do that unless you pull on it. But I don't know if I left enough here to tie that. Let's go above that and tie a knot. And then I'll just trim it. And then it'll be trapped between the two knots. Okay, so let's put our bead on, go above it. What am I doing? There we go. Tie this knot. And that way, we'll have a cute little bead on the end. So I want to scoot this down as much as I can. There you go. And then I'll just trim this little bit off right here. Okay, and there we have a cute little bead dangle on the end. And I'll go ahead and do this on the other side as well. Okay, again, take my beading awl and poke this through. Okay, tie a little knot on the end as well. I'm failing in my knot tying today. Don't have the patience for this today. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so here it is how it would hang if you were wearing it. And I think it's really cute. Here we go, up to the back, and then of course you have the bow tied in the back. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, there are links in the description box for everything. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.